Welcome to Inside View. I'm your host, Joel Metzger, and joining me today are Jay and Janice, who are with Search and Rescue and coordinate and teach the Hug a Tree program. Welcome.
It's great to be here.
Yep, great to be here.
Nice to see you both, and I should let people know that I also am on Search and Rescue with both of you, and I've had a wonderful time getting to know all the ins and outs of the team. But I don't know much about Hug a Tree, and I'm excited to share with our viewers a little bit about this program.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Before we get into the details, I was hoping that you would share a little bit with our viewers about where you grew up, where you went to school, and what you did in the private sector before getting involved with Search and Rescue. And we'll start with Jay.
Oh, I grew up in Oakland, the all-American city, went to high school in Berkeley, San Jose State, got a degree in education, and I taught for 37 years in Palo Alto Unified. And the day school got out 5 years ago, we moved up to Calaveras County permanently. So we're living up in Blue Lake Springs right now.
And Janice?
I grew up in Palo Alto, and I also was a teacher for 32 years in Palo Alto. I was in young primary grades. Jay was middle school math and science. Jay and I fell in love, I think, at recess, was it? Anyway, we met when we were teachers, and we married. And we always knew that we wanted to come up to this area. I've been coming up to this area, Arnold area, since the mid-'80s, and we just knew that eventually, once we got our career done, this is exactly where we wanted to be. It just has everything that we enjoy doing.
So I think the viewers are all wondering about two questions. For Jay, how did you get so lucky? And for Janice, what were you thinking?
Whoa, that's a short road for someone who's just engaged, my friend. In 20 years from now, we'll ask you that question.
That's what my family said. Anyway, it's great living up here.
Very fortunate to be up here. We're having a great time. We're busier now than we ever were down in the Bay Area.
We've been up
Lots
here.
of volunteering.
This is our 5th year. We work up at Bear Valley. We volunteer for everything. People see us around. It seems like we're always doing it for a T-shirt, some sort of a T-shirt with some commemorative thing. But anyway, when Jay got into Search and Rescue about 3 years ago, he'd come home with all these great stories of all these things that they were doing and about the searches. And so I just couldn't help but get really excited about, I wanted to go and see what they were doing too. And I think that's what really hooked us in.
Yeah, so much for my time alone. And you sure you want to rappel and do water stuff and hang on ropes and learn how to do litters and packaging? And yeah, she's doing it all.
I'm very good at finding things. I find his wallet all the time. So I knew that this was going to be a real fit.
Which explains a lot.
It returns it empty, right? Well, I think that's fantastic, man. You guys seem like you're so proficient in your skills. I thought you'd been doing Search and Rescue for much longer.
I'm into about my 4th year now.
4th year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you are now are you the secretary on the team?
I'm secretary to the board.
To the board.
I'm allowed to take notes but not say anything in board meetings.
Okay.
I found that out the first night.
When you had something to say.
Tell me, what was it about Search and Rescue that just kind of caught your eye and made you want to give it a try?
Well, actually, a good friend of mine, Paul Nord, was in Search and Rescue. And it's adventure, and I certainly learned the county. I've searched all over from Valley Springs up to Alpine County. Met a lot of great people. All of us are volunteers from all aspects and varieties and past lives that are now up here, most of them permanent. We have the Forest Service. We have tech guys that started startup companies. We have a medical doctor. We have a reporter from the Esteemed Enterprise. We have some things I won't do. You'll do the water stuff. I'm not getting in the water. I'll do the high angle ropes and things, but I don't want to do the water. But it's a great team to be with, and it sometimes it's kind of boring, and most of the time it's pretty exciting, and you'll learn a lot in a hurry. It's a great organization.
Janice, you said that you heard Jay come home with some good stories, but what kind of pushed you over the edge in terms of giving it a try yourself?
Well, I was interested in some way that I could help participate and sort of give back to the community. And I knew that they did a Hug a Tree program. And that was something with, my experiences in education, I thought it would be really fun to do this program. And the program is every Monday throughout the summer in Big Trees Park. So when I first got involved, I told Ted that I just wanted to be in it for Hug a Tree. But then they started having like this, the walks and the timing our walks and carrying backpacks and kind of the spirit of competition, I found myself really enjoying learning all those things. And so I just became a ground pounder. But then the other part of me is I still wanted to do this Hug-a-Tree and do those education programs. Because Jay, 37 years and I was 32 years of teaching. When we retired, we kind of wanted to get over kids for a little bit. We
promised ourselves we would not talk to a child for a year after we retired. And then they found out we were teachers and sucked us right into the education committee.
Then we thought, okay, we could do an hour a week with children in the park. And every time we do it, we just love it. We've done it for 3 years, and we've met so many people, and it kind of got us back into that education piece. So it was a great fit.
For people who don't know what search and rescue is, and I should have said this earlier, what does the team do in this county?
We're a wilderness rescue group, and we're all volunteers, provide all our own equipment, which can be costly, go through all our own training. We take 4 FEMA tests and National Association for Search and Rescue test. Learn a lot of different skills. We're a little bit different than urban rescue groups, as we have to train for the high altitude and the low temperatures in the winter and the high temperatures in Valley Springs. So basically, we are called out at the whim of the sheriff. The sheriff is our boss, and whenever he has a problem, he'll call us up and see who's available at the time. Right now, we have about 20 people that are able to go out on calls, but it also depends on the time of day and where people are, because most of our calls come in after midnight, which is a problem.
And everybody's volunteer, so it's really, if you can make it, you do, but if you can't, you can't. So you're kind of relying
And they're coming from as far away as Copperopolis and Valley Springs and Jackson, and so it really is a big group that comes together. But when we come together, it's just like really an orchestrated dance. I mean, it's just, there's so much camaraderie and there's so much team working together to work through a situation that it's just a really incredible experience.
Yeah.
Does the team need more volunteers?
Thank you for asking. Always could use more volunteers. The problem up here is you have to be available 24/7, 365 days a year. And people that are still working can't usually do that. We have fire department and forest service people that can actually use it as part of their job and get more time off than most people. But finding someone that's available any time of the day or night is very difficult. And then the training and the testing, it takes a certain person to really go through all that and stick with it. It'll take you 2 years to really get your feet on the ground. And we're still learning. We just did a high angle ropes class 2 weeks ago. And then they introduced wilderness first aid. So there's always more. There's always more you need to know and more you need to learn. What your main goal is to be able to fit into any situation and be able to take part at your level. But we can always use volunteers.
And Janice, the thing is, it's not just about giving all this time and giving of yourself. You're also getting from the team. They're giving you training, wilderness skills.
The training is unbelievable. I mean, the skills that we have learned. We look back the way we used to hike. Thank God, I'm surprised I'm still alive. But you realize all the skills, from navigation. We did a overnight wilderness.
Snow camping,
caves. It's just amazing amount of training. And with that, it really takes a lot of hours a week to be able to do that. But we, surprisingly, even when teaching this Hug-a-Tree course. In the summertime, you realize you just have to be prepared if you're going to be in nature. It's so easy to get yourself turned around. I mean, who hasn't been lost? And you get that feeling like you just suddenly realize all those trees all look the same. So that's one of the things the Hug-a-Tree does, is it really empowers you with some skill sets to help you get lost and keep you from getting lost.
And we've had lost mushroom hunters, guys on motorcycles running out of gas, people getting turned around in the woods, kayakers that are missing after dark. I mean, there's so many different ways you can get in trouble up in the mountains.
And it's important that people know it's not just the macho mountain person who can contribute to this team. You can really give back
I don't know
any number of different ways. Now, you may be an exception, but the point is...
There's something for everybody.
There really
Absolutely.
is, so don't be afraid.
Some people, they just help. We have a group that Donna Hillis, of course, and Chuck Hillis. When we go out, our last search was, I think, last week by 1 and 2 in the morning. They were bringing us sandwiches and coffee, and everybody has something that they try to do to be able to help make this experience, help each other, and there's always something for someone to, for you to do. So that, it's good that way.
And of the many activities, there is an education committee on the team, which consists of you two.
Jay's the president.
And you're the vice president?
Name only, the power behind the throne. Our education committee is really community outreach, and right now it's mostly Hug a Tree.
Yeah.
We've taken it to several of the schools. We've taken it to the Cub Scouts over in Tuolumne County.
Went to Mark Twain Elementary.
We've been to SERS and presented over at SERS. We really just want to get out and let people know that we're here. Also asking for volunteers, but mainly getting people ready to be out in the woods.
The program is about an hour long, 45 minutes to an hour long, and it's really clear. And there's things that you can do to follow up. I mean, we've done this for schools, but any community group that is interested, especially as we get into summer. The program Hug a Tree was really originally designed for kids between the age of 7 and 11, but you can easily go younger and you easily go older. Mm-hmm. I mean, our daughter went to our presentation last summer, and she's 29. She said, "I've really learned a lot." So there's something for everybody, just reminding you of what to do and how to stay safe when you're out in the woods and when you're camping or hiking.
I think last count, more than 13,000 people have seen the program in our county. And again, it's part of the National Association for Search and Rescue, so it's presented all over the state, all over the country. One of our ex-members actually started a program up in Alaska, so it's really branched out. Mm-hmm. It's been around since 1983, I believe.
And Lou Manel is really the one that has done a lot of presentations in Big Tree State Park. He did 16 years.
Yeah, then he invited us to come over and learn the program so we could substitute for him. And the last night he hands us the box of stuff and the video and says, "Thanks for taking over." And he was happy to go back to work at SNAC, but he's an invaluable resource, especially for equipment. And knowledge.
So just to break it down, Hug a Tree is a program which will give young people, that's the target, what they need to make good decisions when they get lost.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It kind of came out of a program. What happened was in 1981, there was a family that was in a Palomar Park, which is northeast of San Diego, and they had gone on for a picnic, and the three boys went off about a half mile from the campground, and when it was time for lunch, two of the boys ran back thinking their brother the 9-year-old had already gone back, and it turns out he wasn't there. So this was, it was a Sunday afternoon, it was really sunny, but they started a full-scale search. Well, then that following night, it got really misty and rainy, and Monday it rained. So using dogs, the scent was now lessened for dogs, so the dog rescue wasn't as helpful, and they couldn't bring in the helicopters. Then the following day, on Tuesday, they had a search of over 400 people, and 200 were Marines from Camp Pendleton that came to look. And so by the end of Tuesday, they were able to find a shoe and a jacket, so they had a direction of travel. But by the time they found him on Wednesday, he had already succumbed to hypothermia. So Ab Taylor is one of the fellows that was instrumental. He was a tracker, and he decided that they had gone around the area where this boy was, but for some reason he was not responding, so they decided that they really needed to have a program for children to what to do if you're lost, how to help yourself get found, and how to be safe. Who knows what happened at that particular instance, but maybe with all those people calling his names, maybe the boy was scared. Maybe he didn't know, what to say because maybe he was told he wasn't supposed to talk to strangers. I mean, you really don't know. So the program really teaches you what it's going to look like. There's a little video that we show what a search looks like when people come out. All these people that are yelling your name are really your friends. They may sound angry, but they're not. And it just kind of goes through all the steps of what to do for surviving. Hug a Tree just means to stay there. Be there by that tree. Don't move. Find a spot to stay, because that's going to make it easier for yourself to be found.
Yeah. And a couple of things you point out: always carry a whistle, because your voice is going to wear out. And you'll always have that whistle close by. And they also suggest if you go out in the woods, bring a trash bag. And the trash bag, if I may.
Of course.
Any common black trash bag.
No, we're not going to put it over me.
Oh, okay. You can put it over Joe. I'm ready, hon. You ready? You sure you don't want to wear it?
Sweetheart.
Anyway, you put the trash bag over your head after we emphasize putting a hole in it, and it slides over your head. It keeps you warm, keeps the bugs off you, and keeps the rain off you. So, and you're supposed to stay by a tree, and this is as comfortable as you can get. Actually, if you put it on in here, after a few minutes, you get warm. I won't put that on. I won't make you put it on either. Because we are driving home together.
It's our first time on TV together.
But kids love to come up and demonstrate this, and they get squat down. It covers their whole body.
Yeah.
And actually, it's lightweight, folds up in your pocket, and is extremely handy, and will keep you safe at least for a night. And we talk about, don't worry about sounds or animals, nothing is out there that can hurt you.
Well, like back, with the whistle, we say if you're ever at a rock concert or if you've ever been at a sports event and how your voice gives out so quickly, that having a whistle was such an easy thing to have, the bag for protection, making yourself, if you know you're going to be there for a while, then make a fort, be creative, make a section of area. If you can make an SOS if you're in more of an area with a clearing, but occupy your thought and keep yourself going, knowing that people are going to be coming out and looking for you. And then
for parents, because somebody left the other model shoe in the car, I'm using mine. Actually, this is a very good shoe to use. I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty well worn. And if you have a track to follow, it makes the night or the day go much quicker, and you know exactly where you're going, and you can identify that person. We bring a student, a child, up to the stage, and then we take out a piece of aluminum foil.
Because when you're camping, your mother and fellow campers always has aluminum foil.
That's right.
And then we ask them to stand and make an impression with their foot, and to keep that around the camp. And anyone looking at that knows what they're looking at can identify the shoe, they can identify the brand, and by looking at the pace, they can tell usually how fast the person's walking, how tall they are. Yeah, I don't know the best way to do this because it came wrinkled this time. But you can see a very good clear imprint, and you can see the worn mark on the heel if you were a tracker. And that's one of our trainings, was tracking. Another thing we suggest to parents and the audience is if you have someone that's older and dementia, possible wander away, keep a good set of prints of the shoes they wear most commonly, especially up in this area. Well, a lot of our call-outs have to do with people that have wandered away.
Because I think one of the questions they had asked somebody whose husband had wandered away is, do you know what shoes they were wearing? And he says the same ones he wears every day.
Which wasn't much help because they didn't have a print of those shoes that he wears every day.
So that's an easy thing to do if you're going camping, taking prints, because all that is going to save time. We've just had many experiences and instances when we've gone out on a search where if the person had just stayed where they were at, it would have made a huge difference, because many times we can come along where the campsite was, or the dogs can help find that area, but it's very difficult when somebody starts to leave.
We had a family come out to the program at Big Trees, and the parents went out for a hike up above towards Cougar Rock up in the Arnold Rim Trail, and they were debating whether or not they should drop off down into the San Antonio drainage or stay where they were. And having gone to the program, they decided they'd stay where they were, and they were easily found. But if they had gone down to the drainage, it would have been an all-night search for them. And it's dangerous, you can fall off, and they made the right decision.
And when they were found, that's what they said. We had gone to a Hug-a-Tree program with our kids, and then we remembered what they said, so we decided just to stay put, and they actually did that.
I think it's a really powerful example of the hunter and his nephew. When it comes to staying put. You don't have to go into too much detail, but what happened, this is just last year.
Yeah. I think that that's definitely would have made all the difference in the world if he had just stayed. I think one of the things we say when you're out hiking in the woods, but you're always looking ahead, but you're always turning around and looking what's behind. You're always trying to get that mark. But if you find that you feel like you are there, that you're in danger and you're lost, just stay. It's amazing with the experience and the training of the people and the crew out there, how quickly they can use, how quickly trackers can work if you just stay where you're at. Because too many times you find where somebody was.
The search last week was an older guy went out in his truck and went down to Forest Road and got stuck in the mud up to his axles. We found the truck fairly quickly, but he had wandered away from the truck, which made it all that much harder. So it's usually best to stay where you are.
And occupy your thought in your time and do things like, if you can, make an SOS, or helicopters generally come out when it's light, and if something happens at night, generally the helicopters will come out in the next morning. If you can, that's one of the things we talk about is to make yourself big. A helicopter is only going to see the top of your head, but if you're lying down and moving your arms and legs, then they have a better chance of seeing you. Also, when you're hiking, you know, with all these fabulous colors we have now, wear neon colors, reds,
bright orange, lime
yellows.
green.
But if you're going to wear any white or brown or black, from a helicopter, it's going to look like a shadow. So you should really try to, you know, liven it up and wear colors that you might
So I'll bring a kid
out.
up to the stage during the program at Big Trees, have them lie down, pretend like there's a helicopter going over them, and then stand up and wave their arms around so they can be seen. Well, we also talked about, this is yours, lost person behavior with the kids too.
Yeah, what would happen, a child that's like 3 years old, how would they react if they're lost? And generally they don't know they're lost. I mean, and they don't have that mental map, so they know where they were, where they've been. Same with the 4 to 6 year old, they don't necessarily have that mental map, but they're usually, you know, interested in water and, you know, animals, and they also don't quite remember where they were, and they're a little bit more hesitant and to talk to strangers. 7 to 10 may resort to that trail running where they panic and they just start running.
Which is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
And then 18 to 25 years old, that's a little tougher. Sometimes alcohol on board, and it's really hard to figure out where they're going to be going or what their behaviors are going to be. We had 3 that were missing in Big Trees a while back, and they didn't want to be found. They were embarrassed. They didn't want to be found. They might have had alcohol with them in their campsite, and actually had a dog that picked up the scent of the fire. And they were very surprised at 2 in the morning when they're all sitting around their campfire when 5 guys came in with dogs asking what they're doing up there and why they were out there in the middle of the night, and pulled them out. And what usually happens is we'll pull them out and the sheriff will stay behind and check the campsite or wherever we found them and find out what they were doing while they were up there. And then you get into the older people, again, dementia patients, people that have wandered away from home. They're a little harder to track. You're not sure how far they're going to go. But generally, you'll find them closer to home. They'll fall down a ravine. They'll wander up against a fence. They're usually not too far away. But sometimes they'll catch a bus. And there you go. You don't know where's the last person you saw. And the notified go out to the other counties to be on the lookout for them. Yeah.
So I've been in the woods, and I've had that feeling before of, oh my God.
We've all had that feeling.
I don't really know where I am. But when do you say, I'm really lost, I need to hug a tree? And when do you say, let me actually give a little bit of effort to finding my way back before I just completely give up? Where is that line?
I think a lot of it has to do with the time of day, where you're getting to be towards night, who you told before you left, where you were going, which is another thing we always say. You have to let somebody know where you're going. I think there's that gut instinct there.
Once you know you're lost, there's no point in trying to find your way out because you're probably just going to get more lost. So you should probably stay where you are. What we tell parents, if they have somebody that's overdue, don't wait. Call the sheriff, tell them the situation, and let the sheriff make the call as to whether or not they need to call somebody out. The longer you wait, the harder it might be to track depending on weather, the darker it's going to get, and the more dangerous it's going to be for the person who's lost. So if there's any doubt at all, call the sheriff. Let the sheriff take the burden away from you and let the sheriff make that decision.
If we can get out, because it's going to take a while for us to go down, get the vehicles, get what we need, depending on what the situation is. When it's light. It's just so nice if we have some light that we can work with. So it's never too early to call. If you think that someone is missing, call the sheriff. It's the best thing you can do, and don't just wait. Don't wait it out. Because we're always so happy. It doesn't matter to us. I mean, we want to go out. We want to go out and search. So if something's called off, that's fine. We're just glad they're safe.
As someone who wants to think proactively, we're talking about some reactive things with these searches, but how can we help people prevent themselves from getting lost or getting the help there faster? One, you can tell someone where you're going.
Yes.
Every time.
Every
and when
time.
you plan to get back.
So try to really give that route. Two, you can take a picture of your sole next to a ruler and send that to a friend via email so they have your shoe print.
Oh, okay.
And then what else can people do? What do you need to have in your pack before you go out? And this is not just for kids, this is for everyone.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. More people are using GPSs now. I think that's one of the reasons there's a little lessening of calls that we get for particularly lost people. Injured people is a different story. If you're out there, be sure to carry enough water. Always check the weather. It's amazing how many people go out and have no idea what the weather and how it's going to turn. They don't plan to stay overnight, but at least have some warm clothes. There's the rule of three.
Yeah.
If you're going out, you have about 3 minutes you can go without air. You've got 3 days you can go without water, and about 3 weeks you can go without food. So we always tell people that ask the question, what about water? We find any kind of water if you're getting dehydrated, it doesn't matter what the water looks like, drink it. You can take care of those problems later when you get back, whether it's the little bugs in the water or whatever. But after 3 days, after 2 days without water, you're going to start to lose the capacity to think and make rational decisions. So drink whatever water you have. And that's one thing when you get out there. A lot of it's just common sense. A lot of common sense that people sometimes don't use. You know, they're going to go out for a day and they're just gone. And they aren't prepared for it.
And I think trackers, too, are really good about looking for clues. They can see prints going over logs. They can see breakage on the side of a bush. I mean, they're really experienced and really trained when they're looking on things to look for.
Yeah.
If people want to find out more, the Calaveras County Search and Rescue Team has a really great website.
Yes.
You can visit. And is that just Calaveras SAR?
Calaveras, SAR.org.
.org. And so there's a little information about Huggetry, about the team, about how you can volunteer to help out in various ways. And then I think that there's a Huggetry history that's linked there if you want to learn more about
Some
it.
photos from some of the trainings, and mostly trainings from over the years.
And anyone's invited to Big Trees Park on Monday nights. I think it starts out, it's in June, but I think it's 8:30 to 9:30.
Whenever it gets dark,
Yeah, I think it's 8:30 to 9:30. It's all summer long, June, July, and August. Anybody can go and just meet at the campfire area and have a presentation, whether you're in the part of the park or not. Just come see it, bring your kids, and we will have generally between 30 and up to 90 people on a Monday night.
And we also do fundraising as part of our committee, another committee. And all donations go straight to search and rescue training and equipment. We have no administrative or overhead charges for our fundraising, so every penny that's earned goes straight to the members in the organization.
I hope that people take advantage of this and get their kids out there. And I want to thank you both for coming on tonight to talk about this important program. I also want to thank you for joining me on this edition of Inside View. I'm your host, Joel Metzger, and I hope to see you here next time.